Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon 'gainst self-slaughter. Oh, God. God. How weary, stale, flat and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fiont. Ah, fie, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this, Hyperion to a satyr, and so loving to my mother, that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I remember? Frailty, thy name is woman. Just a little month, or ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why she, even she, God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well, Horatio, or I do forget myself.
The same, my lord. And your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. What make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? We shall teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day. Horatio, my father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father.
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
In the dead waste, in the middle of the night, a figure like your father appears before me and goes slow and stately by. I knew your father. Huh? These hands are not more like.
Saw you his face?
Oh, yes, my lord.
What? Looked he frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet, once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away and vanished from my sight.
It is very strange.
As I do live, my honoured lord, 'tis true.
Would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like, very like. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it would.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet. King. Royal Dane, what may this mean, that thou, dead corse, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature so horridly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore, what should we do?
Mark me. My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost!
Hear me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
Now, Hamlet, 'tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole heir of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul. My uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts. Oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Brief let me be. Sleeping in my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebener in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth faucet and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I, sleeping, by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off. Even in the blossoms of my sin, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head.
Oh, horrible, most horrible.
Most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, Bed not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. Adieu. 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 Remember me.
Host of heaven, O earth, and what else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fine. Hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee, I, thou poor ghost, whilst memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee, yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all fond trivial records, all sores of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment, all alone, shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Most pernicious woman. Villain. Villain. Smiling, damned villain, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now, to my word. It is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord. What news, my lord?
Wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you will reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
How say you then? What heart of man once think it? But you'll be secret.
I, by heaven, my lord.
Oh, there's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he is an arrant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Quite right. You are in the right, and so without more circumstance at all, I hold it fitted we shake hands and part. And for my own poor part, I will go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
And I'm sorry, they offend you heartily. Yes, Faith, heartily.
There's no offence, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick. But there is, Horatio, and much offence too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost. That, let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, or master it as you may. Now, good friend, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord? I will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, I will not.
Nay, but swear it. Sayest thou so? come on!
This is one to strange.
Therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But, come, so help you mercy, however strange or odd somehow I bear myself, to note that you know aught of me. This to swear. So, grace?
So grace.
And mercy.
And mercy.
At your most need.
My most need.
Help you.
Help me.
Rest. Rest, perturbed spirit. So, good friend, with all my love, I do commend me to you. And what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Still, your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right.
Now, my cousin Hamlet and my son.
A little more than kin, but less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much of the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, and passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
But if it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected haviour of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passes show. These, but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father, but you must know, your father lost a father. That father lost his. And the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persever in obstinate condonement, is a course of impious stubbornness, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course, till he that died today, this must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire. And we beseech you, bend you, to remain here, in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall, in all my best, obey you, madam.
Why, it is a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourselves in Denmark.
My lord. My lord.
Oh, now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
My lord, I have been so affrighted.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered and down-jivered to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face, as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving, up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes. For out of doors he went, without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with his love in honourable fashion.
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to, go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, spinges to catch woodcocks. What, have you given him hard words of late?
No, my lord. But as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, and leads the will to desperate undertakings as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures. I will go seek the king. This must be known.
Thou art the father of good news.
Am I, my lord? Assure you, my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think that I've found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he's found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
Well, I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and... a hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him.
My liege and madam, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to define true madness, what is't but to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter, with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. I have a daughter, while she's mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire? Doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honourable.
I would fain prove so. When I'd seen this hot love on the wing, I prescripts gave her, that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice. And he, repelled, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence into a watch, thence into a weakness, thence into a lightness, and by this declension, into the madness, wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be very like.
Hath there been such a time? I would fain know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise.
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it be hid indeed, within the centre.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together, here in the lobby.
Oh, so he does indeed, yeah.
At such a time, I will loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter.
How sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I beseech you both.
Away. I'll board him presently. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God a mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a fellow.
Honest, my lord.
Aye, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion, Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Then let her not walk i' the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's far gone, far gone. Truly, in my youth, I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have grey beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. Though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For you yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backwards.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, that reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honourable lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I would not more willingly part with all. Accept my life. Accept my life.
Very well, my lord.
Tedious old fools.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern. Good lads. How do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth, my lord.
Happy in that we are not over-happy. On Fortune's cap, we're not the very button.
Oh, what? Nor the soles of her shoe?
Neither, my lord.
Well, then you live about her waist. Or in the middle of her favours.
Faith in our private suite.
Yeah, most true. She's a strumpet. Oh. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Well, let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of Fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
I think not so, my lord.
Why then, 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind, huh?
Well, oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space were it not that I have bad dreams. But, in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Oh, beggar that I am even poor in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, dear friend, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it a free visitation? Is it? Your own inclining? Come, come, deal justly with me. Come, come.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. There is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesty has not craft enough to colour. I know, the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. Let me conjure you. By the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more, dear, a better proposer can charge you with, or you be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or no. Nay, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire, why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapours. What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this? quintessence of dust. Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, that if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you? We courted them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived.
In what, my lord?
I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Lord, I have news to tell you. My lord, I have news to tell you.
The actors come hither. On my honor, the best actors.
Welcome, master. Welcome, good friend. Sir, I'm glad to see you well. Oh, we'll have a speech, straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my good lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once. It was in ancient Greek. But it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. For the play, I remember, pleased not the million. It was caviar to the general. But one speech in't I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout of it especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. Prithee, if it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. Grasta, shir,
Grasta sir, grasta kurbrot, grablugas jumblot, grabashta one blut, granurban strato one, gradoton gradiol, ungrashak.
This is too long.
Then it shall to the barbers with your beard. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Prithee, say on. Come to Hecuba. Say on.
Eleleu, upomaus facilos kai freno plegeis. Maniai tharpos, oistro dardis, hirie mapros. Cradia de phobo frena lactisei, trohodinei domas erigden, exode dromo fermai luces, pneumati margo glosses acrates, soleloide logoi paios eke, stugnes proscumas natis. Ea. Tisao. Theosrutos Proteus Kikuramene Epipago Hecuba.
Look, where he has not turned his colour, and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. I will leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wanned? Tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit. And all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? Oh, he would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze, indeed, the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-mettled rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Well, it cannot be but that I am pigeon-livered, and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this, I should have fatted all this region kites with this slave's offal. About my brains. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, it will speak with most miraculous organ. Yes, I'll have these players play something like the death of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. Now, if he do blench, then I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed long to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No. Not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed has made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Then let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go! Farewell! Or, if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell. I have heard of your paintings, too. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, and you amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more up. It has made me mad! I say we will have no more marriage! Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go.
Love. His affections do not that way tend. Nor what he spake, though it lacked form, a little was not like madness. There's something in his soul, for which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do fear the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, haply the seas and countries different shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating keeps him thus for fashion of himself.
It shall do well. But yet I do believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mould of form, the observed of all observers. Quite down. And I of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason blasted with ecstasy. Woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Horatio?
Yes, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, there is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes very near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, observe my uncle. For I, mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
If he steal aught the whilst this play is playing and scape detecting, I will pay the theft.
How fares our cousin, Hamlet?
Excellent, i' faith. Of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air. Promise crowned. You cannot feed capon, sir.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine now. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. But here's metal more attractive.
Ah, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Did you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought, to lie between a maid's legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who? I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, God. You're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? Eh? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks. And my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long. Nay, then, let the devil wear black. I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life, half a year.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers, their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happy one as kind for husband.
Oh, confound the rest. Such love must needs be treason in my breast. A second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first?
That's wormwood.
A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
Oh, if she should break it now.
Deeply sore, sweet, live here a while.
Sleep, sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offence in't?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offence to the world.
What call you the play?
The Mousetrap. How? Tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name, his wife, Baptista. You shall see anon, 'tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince. Our withers are unwrung. Oh, this one, Lucianus, nephew to the king. He poisons him in the garden for his estate. The story is extant and written in very choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. What? Frighted with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give all the play.
Give me some light.
Light! Light! Light!
Oh, good Horatio! I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000! This perceived!
Very well done.
You're up on the talk of appointment!
I did very well note him.
Come! Some music! For if the king likes not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not for thee? Come! Music! This will...
Could my lord vouchsafe me a word with you?
Sir? A whole history.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, had sent me to you.
Oh, sir, you are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it will please you to make me a wholesome answer, I shall do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make, you shall command. Or rather, as you say, my mother shall, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says. Your behavior had struck her into amazement and admiration.
Wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. Is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
Oh, well,
We shall obey.
Was she 10 times our mother? Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Why do you go about to recover the wind of me, as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. You govern these ventages with your fingers and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music. Excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? It's blood. Do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me.
My lord.
God bless you, sir.
The Queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in shape of a camel?
By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks 'tis like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother, by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friend. Is now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on.
offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal, eldest curse upon't. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Where two serves mercy, but to confront the visage of offense. And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I'm still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense. In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shaft by justice, and oft is seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it, when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help, angels. Make essay. Bow, stubborn knees. And heart, which strings of steel be soft as sinews of a newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it pat. Now he is a-praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. But in our circumstance and course of thought, it is heavy with him. Am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword. And know thou a more horrid hint. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at game, a-swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as damned and black as hell. Whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up. My thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts. Never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look you, lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. Thou silence me, even here. Pray you, be round with him.
I'll warrant you, fear me not.
Mother?
Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Mother? How now, Mother? What's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Oh, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rude not so. You are the queen. Your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
Sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help!
Help! Help!
How now?
Right!
Dead, Frederick. Dead!
Me, what hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. What? Is it the king?
What a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
Kill a king?
Aye, lady, that was my word. wretched, rash, intruding fool. I took thee for thy better. Thou findest to be too busy some danger. Fare you well. Take thy fortune. Leave wringing of your hands, peace. Sit you down. And let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace of blush and modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dice as oaths. Such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words, heaven's face doth glow. Yea, this solidity and compound mass, with heated visage as against the doom, is thought sick at the act.
Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here. Upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. The front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you, on this fair mountain, leave to feed and batten on this moor? Huh? Have you eyes? Oh, you cannot call it love, for at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Oh, shame.
Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying, and making love over the nasty star.
Speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain. A slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord. A vice of kings. A cut purse of the empire and the realm, who, from a shelf, the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more!
A king of shreds and patches. Save me and hover on me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come, your tardy son, to chide? That lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say.
Do not forget. This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. O step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is't with you, lady?
Alas, how is't with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. O gentle son, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him. Look you, how pale he glares. His form and course conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern affects. Then what I have to do would want true colour. Tears, perchance, for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
No, nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look you there. Look! How it steals away my father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now out of the portal.
Oh, this is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation, ecstasy, is very cunning in.
Ecstasy. My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and either matter will reword which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul that not your trespass but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it and live the purer with the other half. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent me, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
By no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him, for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I, essentially, am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know. For who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a jib such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No. In despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket at the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape to try conclusions, in the basket creep and break your own neck down.
if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most silent, and most grave. Who was in life a foolish, prating knave. Come on, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, Mother.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are e'en at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. And that's the end.
Alas. Alas.
A man may fish with the worm that hath eat of a king, and eat of the fish that hath fed of that worm.
What does thou mean by this?
Nothing. But to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where's Polonius?
In heaven. Send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, you seek him in the other place yourself. But, indeed, if you find him not with this month, you shall nose him as you go upstairs into the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed, for thine especial safety,
which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done,
must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready and the wind doth help. The associates tend. And everything is bent for England.
Oh, England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it. If thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But, come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. See, father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. So, mother. To be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die. To sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Oh, aye. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
Will't please you go, my lord?
Come, for England. From this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. Pray, let's have no words of this. But when they ask you what it means, say you this: by Jis and by Saint Charity, alack, and fie for shame! Young men will do it if they come to it. By cock. By cock! They are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so would I had done, by yonder sun, and thou hast not come to my bed. I hope all will be well. We must be patient. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Good night, ladies. Good night. Sweet ladies, good night. Good night. Good.
Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he most violent author of good Polonius' death. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment. Last, and as much containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France. Feeds on this wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and once not buzzes to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace, in many places gives me superfluous death.
O thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with to hell allegiance. Vows to the blackest devil. Conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation, to this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence. Let come what comes. Only I'll be revenged most throughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
Only his enemies.
Why, now you speak like a good child. And a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment peer as day does to your eye. Goodly it is, he which hath your noble father slain, pursued my life.
Ophelia, kind sister.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? I cannot choose but weep to think that they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it. They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey non non, hey non, hey non. And on his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove. Fare you well. There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. There is pansies. That's for thoughts. There's fennel for you. And columbines. There's rue for you. And here's some for me. We may call it herb or grace. On Sundays, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. And will he not come again? No, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His beard was as white as snow. All flaxen was his poll. He is gone. He is gone, and we cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God. God be with you. God be with you. God be with you.
Oh, heat, dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt burn out the sense and virtue of mine eyes. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid with weight till our scale turn the beam. O Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens, is it possible a young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life? Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that would fain blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Oh, now, what news?
Letters, my lord. From Hamlet.
From Hamlet. Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord.
Leave me. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Naked. And in a postscript here he says, alone.
One woe doth tread upon another's heels, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There is a willow grows aslant the brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. Therewith, fantastic garlands did she make of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, which liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. Now there on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds, clambering to hang, and an envious sliver broke when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up. Each time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Tell me, Mar, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull me hair, stone me comb, well, that's all right till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty. Knock at the door, ring at the bell. Hello, me true love, are you well? And who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter? A grave maker. The houses he builds last till doomsday. Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, the snow come travelling through the sky. She's as sweet as apple pie. She'll get her own lad by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, she won't tell him her when she gets home. Let them all come as they will. Zalbet Mooney she loves still.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business? He sings in grave
The
making.
girls alone.
Sarah. Whose grave's this?
Mine, sir.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in't.
You lie out on it, sir, therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet 'tis mine.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in't?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. Must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. Sarah, how long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras, King of Norway.
And how long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell you that. It was that very day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad, and sent into England.
I marry. Why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There, the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
E'en with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark.
Soft. Soft a while.
Lay her at the earth. And from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. What ceremony else? What ceremony else? Must there no more be done?
No more be done. Her death was doubtful. We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem, and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and to not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe, fall 10 times treble. On that cursed head whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust. upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made. To o'ertop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wander-wounded heroes?
The devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat. For though I be not punitive and rash, yet have I in me something dangerous. Let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand. I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers, with all their quantity of love, could not make up my son. What wilt thou do for her?
He is mad, Laertes!
For love of God, forbear him!
Would weep? Would fight? Would tear thyself, drink up easel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it! Dost thou come here to whine? To outface me with leaping in her grave? Be thou buried quick with her, and so shall I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. There thou'lt mouth! I'll rant as well as thou!
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him.
I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him.
It is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day. I have words to speak in thine ear. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course to England. Of them I have much to tell thee. There's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
That's most certain.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting which would not let me sleep. Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them. Had my desire, fingered their packet, making so bold to unseal their grand commission, wherein I found, Horatio, royal knavery, an exact command that on the supervise, no leisure bated, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
It's possible.
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. Being thus benetted round with villainies, I sat me down and devised a new commission. I wrote it fair. An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
What a king is this?
Is it not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm? And it's not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil.
It must be shortly known to him from England. What has he issued the business there?
It will be short. The interim is mine, and a man's life is no more than to say, one.
Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son, more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Stay close within your chamber. Hamlet returned, will put on those shall praise your excellence, bring you in fine together and wager on your heads. He being remiss, you may choose a sword unbaited and with the pass of practice. Requite him for your father.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that if I but gall him slightly, it may be death.
When in your motion you're hot and dry, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce. Run but sipping. If he by chance escape your venomed stock, our purpose may hold.
The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and Laertes, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Sir, it is the breathing time of day with me. If it please His Majesty, let the foils be brought.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. 'Tis no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
'Tis but foolery. 'Tis such a kind of gain-giving as perhaps would trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, it is not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man knows of aught he leaves, what is to leave betimes. Let be.
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But, pardoned as you are a gentleman, this presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with a sore distraction. What I have done that might your honor, nature, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was it Hamlet wronged Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be ta'en away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If this be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot my arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied. In nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge, but in terms of mine honor, I stand aloof and will no reconcilement.
Give us the foils, come on.
Come. One for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star i' the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my liege. Your Highness hath laid the odds of the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I've seen you both.
One.
No.
Judgment.
A hit. A very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay. Here's to your health, Hamlet. Give him the cup.
Set it by a while. I'll play this bout first. How say you now?
A touch. I do confess.
Our son shall win.
The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. Pray you pardon me.
By and by.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think that...
Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour's life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. Why, as a woodcock to mine own springe, I am justly served. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king. The king's to blame.
My dear Hamlet, the drink. The drink. Poison.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane. Follow my mother.
This must be so.
How is Miriam?
I die, Horatio. Wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance. that are but mutes or audience to this act. Had I but time, as this fell sergeant Death is strict in his arrest, I could tell you. Let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Is yet some liquor left?
Give me the cup. By heaven, I'll have it. Oh God, Horatio, what a wounded name, thing standing thus unknown, shall I leave behind me? If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Let go. The rest is silence.